I'm Jodie Sylva and this is XpoNorth 2018. With me I have Ryan Hendrick and Caitlin Blackwood. Now Ryan, your film Sundown had its premiere today. Tell me how that went.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It looked incredible on the big screen. I've not seen it on a screen that size before, which was excellent. And it's been quite a long journey to kind of get the film off the ground, get it made, get it completed, and actually kind of get it out to audiences so they can enjoy it and take something away from it.
It is quite an incredible film, and it was filmed on Iona.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about why you chose Iona as a place to film.
Well, it goes all the way back to where the concept for the film came from. I went there about 8-9 years ago for a week, and just witnessed the most spectacular sunsets I've ever seen. And literally, there's no landmass off the west coast of the island. It literally is that picturesque sunset, dropping under the water, and that just really took me by surprise. And in my early 20s at that point, kind of thinking about what's the meaning of life, and thinking about what's all the kind of different artistic and life affirming things that people think about at that age. So it was just kind of took that away and developed about how can I take that into a story, and thought it would be quite an interesting idea to kind of tackle the subject of mortality and understand and accepting mortality in the grand scheme of things, and how that kind of lends perspective to everything around you, being like your job, your going out on a Friday night, whatever. How that lends perspective to that, meaning absolutely nothing in the grand scheme to how we are here, how we exist in this sort of natural environment.
So was that a seed of an idea that came to you at that point, or is this something that has been? I guess from that then you must have been working on this idea for quite a number of years until it's come to this point where you were at filming. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, well, it's like any idea. It develops over a period of time. It can be a short period of time. It can be a long period of time. And this is something that you'd kind of blow the dust off every once in a while, and it's like, nah, it's not ready yet, and you put it away. So the concept was all there, and subject matter, but how we were going to tell this story was kind of up for grabs, because at one point it was about this young guy, and then it was about this sort of middle-aged woman, and then it kind of went back and forth, and then there was idea, and then it ended up being about the sort of the young woman and the older man, and how their perspectives on life and where they are at in their own lives, on that very similar journey that they both take.
And that's where Caitlin comes in, because Caitlin, your background, you have experience as an actress, but quite some time ago.
Yeah, so I was very young when I had my first role in the British TV show Doctor Who, and so it's been quite a while. I was focusing on school for a long time, so playing someone my age and being a lot older and thinking about these things was really interesting.
And how did you find that transition from being a young actor to really a young woman as you are now? Did you find it fairly straightforward to move from being a child actor to an adult?
It was quite challenging at first, because as a child, you just do the motions as a child, and that's just acting. So it was very natural when I was a child, but I had to think more about the acting as a young woman, and I had to do a lot more preparation, I think, for this role.
I mean, the idea of dealing with death as well, I mean, it's not something most people your age have to think a great deal about.
No.
Is that something you took experience from, or how did you get yourself into that role?
So yeah, I definitely had to think a lot about death and how that has impacted me in the past, and how it would impact this young woman, and also William as well, how what would be going through his mind at this point, and how he would be dealing with it. And so yeah, I had to think about all these things just to get the right role.
Right. And back to you, Ryan. I mean, it is quite an emotive film, and when I saw it, it really, you've thought a lot about the emotion and leaving space for emotion within the film itself. Was that a conscious decision?
Yes, the film is really about absorbing yourself within the elements, and the characters go through this journey where they kind of sort of become part of the elements and of experience it and try and understand what that means. And it's very important that the audience don't just witness this. The audience have to try and get absorbed in this as well, otherwise we failed, and on an emotive level that doesn't work. So we very deliberately took our time, so we kind of literally go on this time journey with them, as they kind of move across, and there's lots of slow sequences where we experience the elements, and the audience are allowed to get swept up in the environment, but in the emotion of the story as well, and in the emotion of the characters' struggle. So it's the idea being, as the characters' emotional journey develops, the audience are literally experiencing that along with them. And so far that has worked, because, you know, anytime anyone's seen the film, we've left people in various emotional states, from briefly moved to, you know, extreme tears.
And I did notice in the film, something that struck me was your serenity within the film. You just seemed to have this serene exude from you. Was that a conscious decision to put yourself in that space, or was that just something that came out with the film?
I think just being on Iona and all the beautiful scenery around you, you just kind of get that sense of just calmness. So having that just kind of came along when I was just doing it.
And it must have been quite a challenge, Ryan, to film on Iona. It's not the easiest place to get to. You had a whole crew there.
Yeah, that's what we thought. We thought we were going into a hellish nightmare, but it was all in the planning. Our two fabulous BAFTA-winning producers over there did a great job on bringing it all together, and it's all about getting people there and having the accommodation and keeping people close and keeping people happy. And the weather in Scotland has a big part in that as well. If the weather had turned on us, it would have been a disaster. Everyone would have been in a bad mood. The film wouldn't have looked as good. But yeah, I mean, going there is, I firmly believe that when you take a group of people away for an entire time to get in this experience and bring this story to life, it does literally become an experience. It's not going to a job, because you go to set, you come back, you go home every night, you come out of it. But when you're there and you're there for one particular focus, people get really involved in what they're doing and get really swept up in the environment, as Caitlin said.
And was there a specific moment in your filming schedule where you thought, this is just all coming together and it's something quite special?
Yeah. On the second day, when we were out shooting the sunset sequences, we literally we scheduled a lot of time to go out and do these, just to make sure we got the best opportunity in case the weather didn't play ball. And we've been out there all day. We were working on this really long sort of dialogue exchange between the two characters, and I was expecting to go, this is where it's going to, either I'm going to have to work my ass off here, or it's going to be very straightforward. And very quickly it became very straightforward. Partly down to Fraser's, 50 years plus experience in film, but more importantly as well, though, was watching Caitlin's decision-making tree going on, because I expected, young actress, is going to be away from it a while. It's going to be quite a tricky thing to get into. But no, clearly the preparation had been done, and decisions had been made to the point where, take by take, she would do the exact same little subtle things, which
sign of a true professional.
Yeah, exactly. As an actor myself, you never get that spot on, and you can never cut another shot on another take during that move because it never syncs. But every single time that happened, we did cut on it, because it was just the precision.
Well, I've got to say, it really is quite a spectacular film, and I just wish you both the very, very best of luck with wherever this film may take you both. Thank you.
Thank you very much.